Season 2 FC Wonderkid Podcast, episode 31, and it's my first time filming a podcast bold, and it had to be with a friend of mine, a great friend, Gonçalo Andrade, co-host of the Spilled Milk Podcast, which talks about controversial takes. We'll get to it in the outro too to talk about it, so people can follow you too, Gonçalo. And yes, thank you so much for being here, Benfica and Man United fan, Gonçalo Andrade. How are you, mate?
How are we doing today, bro? I'm hopeful. We'll talk about it. But it's a good day. It wasn't a great season for a Benfica fan, but and a Manchester United fan. It was one of the hardest seasons for me. But we'll talk about it.
Understandably in that sense. And Man United have a big summer, and we will obviously mention that big topic because yes, Mbeumo, Mateus Cunha, who knows if Victor Gyökeres is also in the cards. Let's wait and see what's going to happen. But yes, we'll start here in the FC Wonderkid Podcast, episode 31, with the Portugal topic. Honestly, Gonçalo, it's my first time talking on tape. Bold, and I gotta say, Mendes, you're the best, not just left back, not just full back, you're one of the best players in the world, and following him since 2018-19, I'm so happy to see his development as a player, as a human being, and as a leader with the mindset to become the best left back ever in Portuguese history. So I'm really happy, and I had to start it here.
Brother. I think we were kind of disrespected, not really disrespected, but people didn't take us seriously when we mentioned that PSG were gonna be UCL champions, man.
You said it early.
We said it very, very, very early. We saw the talent way before most people did, and here we are. I mean, people need to start realizing that we know football, that we're not just some casual fans.
It's the Portuguese bias talk, and I'm a victim of it because it's Vitinha Portuguese bias, it's Mendes Portuguese bias, it's Gonçalo Ramos that he had a tough start at PSG, but people will understand the talent of Gonçalo Ramos. It's João Neves that I stated is one of the best players I've ever seen in the Portuguese league, especially at the age of 19. I said that, and people had the audacity to say Portuguese bias. Exactly. My friends, these are players that are world-class level, inspired by Cristiano Ronaldo. This is why it's beautiful. Rodrigo Moura, João Neves, Mendes, Vitinha, all these players were adolescents when Cristiano Ronaldo was conquering at Real Madrid. They were inspired by Cristiano Ronaldo growing up, and this is the way they give back, by trusting their leader. That, look, even Gonçalo, I have to say it at the start here of the Portuguese topic, people said that Cristiano Ronaldo is a bad example. People state that after the Euros exit. Yes, Ronaldo didn't score a goal, but how many people with the age of Cristiano Ronaldo could play at that level? And the Germany game was an answer to all the haters that state Penaldo, state so much blasphemy that Cristiano Ronaldo, I'm truly happy to see him in this team, and I'm truly happy that he's the leader of my national team, the reference of my country. Cristiano Ronaldo, obrigado, and if we win against Spain, it's because of Cristiano Ronaldo going bold. Don't forget that last game, hat-trick with a free kick goal of Ronaldo, man. That was insane what it happened.
World Cup hat-trick. Man, that will stay in our memories forever.
But how are you feeling since you're a Man United fan in Portuguese too, Gonçalo, with this Cristiano Ronaldo talk? So many people have opinions on him now.
I don't understand. I don't understand how there's still even a talk about how much of an example Cristiano Ronaldo is to the Portuguese players. I mean, the most famous person in the world is not American, is not English. He's Portuguese. Not even just the influence he has in terms of football-wise, but he's also so famous because of the personality he has. He's contagious, and that goes through the whole national team. It has to be stated.
Is Cristiano Ronaldo more known than Elon Musk?
I think so, man. If we go by social media, he's the most followed person in the world. That's the main KPI to go by, I think.
It's true. No, it makes sense. Going from that to that, it makes sense. And it, obviously, so I like the fact that you agree with me in this sense. But
100%.
people in the comment section, if you disagree, let us know in the comment section. Me and Gonçalo, we're both Portuguese. So we lived in Portugal and we've seen what Cristiano Ronaldo did for us Portuguese. We're Euros contenders. We're World Cup contenders. We're in a Nations League final. We won the first Nations League that ever took place because of Cristiano Ronaldo. We're not scrubs anymore. We're not here to take parts.
Yes.
We're here to take over Portugal.
Take over.
And we're World Cup 2026 contenders because of this man. And I can guarantee you, Rodrigo Moura, João Neves, Vitinha, Diogo Costa, Nuno Mendes, Ruben Dias, Gonçalo Inácio, this amount of talent, Giovanni Kenda, that's going to turn up. So much talent will be crucial for us to win this World Cup. And again, we are contenders to win it, just like Spain, just like I'd say maybe, this is very bold, obviously Argentina with Scaloni with Argentina, always a contender. But I look at this game against Spain, it's one of the ones that remain in the history of this game. So, Gonçalo, you're quite a great example to talk about this game because Gonçalo is a Portugueseman, football fan, and he lives in Madrid. So
Right.
you live with the Spanish people. So you know what they're thinking. And how are we feeling here, Gonçalo?
There's
How
a
are
lot of
they
criticism
feeling?
in Spain. There's a lot of criticism in Spain because the Madridistas are always almost supporting Portugal to win against their own country, which is insane because they love Ronaldo so much. It's insane. And there's a big rivalry, almost Barcelona-Madrid, that is coming by because it's Ronaldo versus Lamine Yamal.
Pedri, Lamine, Gavi, Cubarsí, Valde, a lot of Spanish players that are references to Barcelona. Yeah.
But I think the
Madridista.
real rivalry won't be Lamine Yamal versus Ronaldo. It will be Vitinha versus Pedri. I
And
think
Lamine
we will
Yamal
see-
versus Nuno Mendes.
Of
Versus Nuno Mendes, best
Of
left
course.
back in the world against best right winger.
100%. 100%. I think, like, I understand the criticism that people talk about from the Portugal side and from Cristiano. I think the issue isn't really Cristiano, and we'll get to it in a second. But I think the issue is that sometimes we play too much thinking that Cristiano is 27 years old, and he's not. I think he's a really, really good striker. I think he has an incredible presence in the area, but going for random crosses the whole game, it just doesn't work. And
It's true.
I think eventually that raises the criticism that it's the problem is Cristiano. I think it's just the indications and the realization that Cristiano needs to fulfill a different role. But I think he's still incredibly influential.
And the game against Germany was a great sign because this was one of the best games I saw from Cristiano Ronaldo in recent history, okay? Because
100%.
yes, it's not because of the goal, the way he was playing with the dynamics and the trust that the teammates had in his ability at certain given times. I agree with what you said, and a big thing for that to be the case, Gonçalo, is also Rafael Leão not playing. Pedro Neto is a very different player at the left wing, playing with Cristiano Ronaldo that Rafael Leão is. Defensively, he's a lot more supportive. He understands a lot more what to do with Cristiano Ronaldo. He doesn't move solely with his intention. He moves with the intention of the striker. So very, very comprehensive player. So I think that's a very big positive for Ronaldo to play with Pedro Neto at the left wing. And I believe that's going to be the case. Portugal will play Diogo Costa, Nuno Mendes, Inácio, Ruben Dias. And at the right back, don't put João Neves. It's Nelson Semedo. That's my choice personally, ahead of Diogo Dalot. Then I put João Neves and Vitinha, the best midfield in the world,
Of course.
cooking to play against Pedri. I put a Bruno Fernandes. I put a Pedro Neto. At the right wing, I have to put Bernardo Silva at this moment. And at the striker, yes, it's Cristiano Ronaldo at this moment in time. And first player to come in, you know who that is? Rodrigo Moura, because this player is built different. And if we want to find results that we are not seeing in our mind, is by testing what has never happened before. And Rodrigo Moura has never been playing for the Portuguese national team. First team, obviously, it will be his debut, and I can guarantee I can see Rodrigo Moura having his debut against Lamine Yamal. I can see Rodrigo Moura saying to the world, "I'm one of the best young players in the world, no doubt." I say it, the best player is sair do Olival. Leaving Olival will be named Rodrigo Moura real soon, and I know Vitinha just came off Olival. Okay, I know the levels of talent that we're talking about, but that's my confidence. So. Gonçalo,
Yeah,
who
I
are the
think-
players that you believe will be the The big difference in this match.
Something you mentioned that is really important is that Pedro Neto has to start over Rafael Leão. I mean, Rafael Leão is really talented. I think nobody disputes that. But this season was probably the worst season we've seen him with a Milan shirt. He has not scored a single goal in San Siro this season.
True.
And Pedro Neto has been performing for Chelsea when he's fit, and he's been very important and key player for the club. And so I think Pedro Neto, also for the defensive side that you mentioned, also for that, tactically and also in terms of form, is the right choice to make. Now, I don't know. I didn't dislike the crazy tactic of having like a midfielder on the right back position. Now, for me, João Neves needs to play midfield. But I wasn't completely averse to that. I don't think
he played there at PSG too. I understand that.
Yeah, exactly. So he played there for PSG. But I agree that the best starting 11, the only switch I would make would be to put Bernardo Silva not in the right wing and switch with Chico Conceição. I think he's in form. I think he scored an amazing goal. I think he had some incredible chances, incredible clips that he raised for TikTok, man. And wow, I think he performed. I think he's hungry. I like that. I like to play players that are hungry, and I think Chico Conceição deserves to start.
Very well stated. And teams that win have that mix of experience plus a bit of hungriness, and Chico Conceição totally represents just that. That for Porto was a great goal too. For the guarantee, maybe the move to leave Porto, because yes, as it seems, I don't know if Francisco Conceição will return and play for Porto, but it was very good. I was really happy for the kid. And you mentioned fast the duels, Vitinha against Pedri, completely. This will be an historical final in the Nations League, Portugal-Spain, because there's a Vitinha against Pedri. There's a unveils against Lamine Yamal. There's a Cristiano Ronaldo versus Dean Huijsen, the new center-back of Real Madrid now, okay, against the legend of Real Madrid. That's a matchup that I'm so curious to see. And then crazy. We have the historical factor, okay? Portugal, Spain, these are thousands of years that we know each other, and that we have a bit of animosity. So now the football pitch represents just this, and it's a great way for us to resolve our issues, and Portugal winning this game. And I mentioned Vitinha at the start. My friend, I knew about Vitinha. This is the clip that I posted recently. Vitinha, baller in 2021. I always knew Vitinha was incredible, and he would be one of the best midfielders in the world. Yeah. But I'm so happy that I can say that this season, Vitinha is the best midfielder in the world, alongside Pedri, okay? The two are the best, no doubt, ahead of Jude, ahead of Declan Rice, ahead of Barella. Vitinha had a monumental season, and I'm not afraid to say a better season than the Ballon d'Or season of Rodri with Man City in Spain, okay? Vitinha had a better season, more impactful for his team and for Portugal. If we are winning the Nations League, if Portugal's winning the Nations League, then I sure believe there's a chance. It's the PSG dynamic, and it's Vitinha stating to the world, I'm better than Pedri, and I'm the best midfielder in the world, Champions League winner, and definitely it will be embarrassing if it's not the case. Top 3 for the Ballon d'Or, minimal. If he wins the Ballon d'Or, nobody can debate it. Okay? But top 3, don't rob my guy Vitinha.
How we feel 100% agree, Alex. I think Vítor Machado Ferreira, better known as Vitinha, is totally this year Ballon d'Or contender, and there is no dispute if he wins it, if Portugal win the Nations League. There is no dispute. Vítor Machado Ferreira could be Ballon d'Or this season. I think also he had a better season than Rodri when he won the Ballon d'Or. I totally agree with that statement. And I think he was absolutely clutch for PSG to win the UEFA Champions League. I think there is no dispute. We've seen great attacks at PSG, but this midfield is what makes a difference, and the wing backs as well.
Exactly. And Vitinha, that's what we had to say about Vitinha. Do you agree with us that he's one of the best, if not the best midfielder in the world of football? Put in the comment section down below. If you're listening to the podcast until now, like this video on YouTube and follow us on Spotify and Apple. And we have to obviously talk here at the end about João Neves, okay? Would you put João Neves in the top 20 of the Ballon d'Or, my friend?
Bro, as a Benfica fan, it was the biggest blasphemy made by Rui Costa was to sell that kid. He's a homegrown Benfica fan. What a player! We've seen it. 60 million was an incredible bargain for an 18-year-old with that discipline. The discipline is what really stands out from him. He's so disciplined. I think he totally deserves to be top 20. He had an incredible season. He plays everywhere. Also, the versatility of the player. Wow. He was so crucial for the UCL campaign for PSG and in Copa de France, in Ligue 1. He was super consistent. I think he's part of the best midfield, and he deserves that. He's
part of the best midfield ever in PSG history.
100%.
Winning the Champions League, and the history will say that Kylian Mbappé left Real Madrid, Desiré Doué, Kvisha Kvaratskhelia, and most importantly, João Neves arrived in Paris, and they conquered the world and won every possible trophy they could. Okay, in France they won the Coupe de France, they win the Ligue 1, the Super Cup, and they won everything. And they won the Champions League, and there's a real chance that they can also win the FIFA Club World Cup that we'll talk here at the end of the podcast. If that happens, oh my days. But top 5 managers this season in football, for me, I put 5th Conte, 4th Arne Slot, 3rd Xabi Alonso, second in the best managers, Hansi Flick, for how impactful he is at Barcelona, and the best manager in the world is Luis Enrique,
no
in
doubt.
My opinion, completely. Okay?
To me, no
and
doubt.
I had to say this. Even though we're talking Portugal, I have to state and thank Luis Enrique, because he made it so clear for Roberto Martinez that has to be Vitinha and João Neves starting every game for the Portuguese national
Thank you,
team.
Luis Enrique, man. And how how PSG plays is just not attacking football relying on good players. It's the way they play, the way they switch positions, the way the lines are moving on the pitch. It's just a tactical mastermind behind it. And you can see it. It's the best football to see, to watch. It's so graceful, right? I think it's so good. And you can see there that Luis Enrique deserves to be the best coach this year. It was insane. It was actually insane what he did.
And last question in the Portugal topic. Will Roberto Martinez be the manager of Portugal in the 2026 World Cup, Gonçalo?
Right. I think we have a little issue here, which is I think Portugal will win the Nations League, or I hope, of course, but I think. And then after that, I don't think the Presidente da Federação Portuguesa de Futebol will be able to fire Roberto Martinez and get another coach. But I think the right decision is to let him go. I really do think that.
I'm going to go bold and state that even though Roberto Martinez wins the Nations League, I don't think he's the manager for us in the 2026 World Cup. I would go with Jorge Jesus or José Mourinho, but Jorge Jesus, I just have a special feeling that he would make history for us and that we would win the 2026 World Cup. I gotta go bold with my new look, people, with Cristiano Ronaldo still being in the Portuguese national team, and with Rodrigo Moura, one of the best wonder kids I've ever seen in Portugal, being in our national team right now, and being inspired that he can be one of the best midfielders in the world. So Nuno Mendes, João Neves, Vitinha, continuem a fazer história. Keep on going, keep on making history, okay? For my statements like these ones become facts. But yes, thank you so much for listening until now with the Portuguese topic, and now we gotta talk about Man United. You're wearing the kit, Gonçalo.
Yeah.
Glory, Man United with Ruben Amorim. Trust me, guys, okay, with what I'm saying. Ruben Amorim is the man for you guys to win a Premier League. With Erik ten Hag, even though I got the same look, he wouldn't go bold with this Man United team. You wouldn't win the Premier League. And with Ruben Amorim, with Mateus Cunha, with Mbeumo, with a proper striker named Victor Osimhen or Victor Gyökeres, you have a chance to go crazy bold and nobody expecting, but at least being top 4 in the Champions League. But trust me, you guys are contenders. You guys are contenders with the right signings. So Gonçalo, bold statements here at the start. How are you feeling?
The first thing I have to say, above everything, is thank you, Bruno Fernandes, for not accepting the Al Hilal proposition. Thank you. We need you. We do not trust our owners to use the money wisely, even if we make a lot of money. So please, above everything, in this very underwhelming season, to say the least, it was clear that Bruno Fernandes was the right leader for us and that he played above everyone else. And so we need him to stay. So thank you, Bruno. If this goes all the way through the summer, thank you. Then it goes without saying that we are trusting Ruben Amorim, but this is now the time. This is now the time. He has also stated that now good times are coming. I don't see where we can go even worse than what we did, to be fair. So, man, we are hopeful. We are always hopeful. We believe because we are fans of one of the biggest clubs in the history of football. But, man, has it been tough, man. Has it been tough?
True. And even for Ruben Amorim as a manager, the fact that he accepted to go to Man United mid-season after with Sporting he wins 100% of his games in the league, it's the fact that he believes in the project and he believes that he can be the man to change the Man United course of history. Man United has not been winning Premier League titles in the last 10 years, and Ruben Amorim with Sporting wasn't winning league titles in the last 20 years. He obviously believed he could be the man to change the direction of the team. He's going to do that at Man United, guys. He's got even more money, he's got even more fans, and he's got better facilities. Even though Sporting has been improving massively in the last few years, it's Man United we're talking about here. And with the promise of having a new stadium that's going to cost $2 billion. This is the thing. And this is the thing, we're Portuguese, Gonçalo, and Portuguese people are very human in the sense that Ruben Amorim sees people losing their jobs in the club. So many jobs, so many people lost their jobs because of the poor performances of Man United. I guarantee you, Ruben Amorim, in a human level, he's going to be feeling this massively, and he's going to be using this as fuel for his team to be the best in the world, because that's the level of Man United. In England, at least, you got to be the best in the world. That's the Man United heritage and the responsibility that you have as a Man United player. Ruben Amorim will make this happen on the pitch, and the mediocrity will not be accepted anymore. Matheus Cunha, Mbeumo, Amad Diallo, a proper striker. We see here goals. And beforehand, I wouldn't see goals, Gonçalo. I'm sorry, I wouldn't see goals with the players that we're playing. I couldn't.
Yeah. I was going to state just that. I was going to state, it's everything is possible with Ruben Amorim, but for us to reach a world-class level, again, you need to hire world-class players. And everything will be reliant on the summer transfer window. And that, I think there is no doubt. I think we're starting to see that even though we are not playing Europe next season, we still are Manchester United.
True.
And we can still hire very, very good players. I think it will come down to the Victor Gyökeres hiring. And I don't want to be that guy, but I think Matheus Cunha is a good player. I think Mbeumo is a good player. I butcher the names. But I think it will come down to a world-class player. And Victor Gyökeres might be the man that decides the fate of next season. I really do.
I just think he's more guarantees. If they do sign Victor Gyökeres, yes. If Man United's attack is Matheus Cunha, Victor Gyökeres, Mbeumo, Man United fans, I guarantee you get top 4 of the Champions League. Minimal. It could be bold for some people, me stating this, but I just know what Ruben Amorim can do with these players. Amad Diallo was going to leave the club with Erik ten Hag. Not with Ruben Amorim. He extended his contract straight away. Players are being solved. Lenny Yoro is going to be insane. Patrick Dorgu is going to be insane. You're going to have a new goalkeeper. That is immediate and must happen, okay, at the club. Yeah. So, trust the guidance of Ruben Amorim. Trust the rebuild of Ruben Amorim with Mr. Omar Berada. These are the people to change. And Man United wouldn't win a Premier League with the likes of Rashford, with the likes of Sancho, with the likes of Garnacho being the leaders of this team. They wouldn't win. I'm sorry. You wouldn't win a Premier League. And Højlund had the chance to score goals this whole part of the season with Ruben. Højlund Xerxes, Garnacho, no one guarantees the Ruben Amorim,
No one.
but Amad Diallo. Amad was the player to score goals, and Bruno Fernandes, obviously. So these are the players you must trust for next season, and times will change. But is there a player that you really want to see, not named Victor Gyökeres, okay? I'm putting you to the test here a bit, to go to Man United, Gonçalo.
Yes, there's one player, and again, we're going to come with a Portuguese bias, but I think Diogo Costa in goal would be an insane hiring. I think it would suit Manchester United so well. I think he's a world-class keeper. We've seen it in the Euros. We've seen it in the Portuguese League. We've seen it in the UEFA Champions League. And we can see it in the Premier League as well. I think he's well above Onana. And I think it would be the perfect hiring for Manchester United.
Completely. Well above Onana, and I'd say he's top 10 goalkeepers in the world of football.
100%.
And that obviously has a price tag. Best goalkeeper in the Portuguese League in the last 4 years, most definitely. Never forget when I saw him playing in the Youth League. And Porto won that Youth League with Fabio Silva, with Vitinha on the bench.
Crazy.
It was mad scenes. Fabio Vieira also playing, Romário Baró. The streets won't forget. But let us know down below. What are your thoughts about Manchester United? A lot's going to happen this summer. And yes, I'm sure we're going to talk another time about Man United and what's changing at the club. Hopefully positive. But since we mentioned Diogo Costa, it makes complete sense for us to talk about here the last topic. FIFA Club World Cup. Porto and Benfica are both participating. And I've seen so many embarrassing takes, I'm going to say these statements, of Brazilian people, of people in the UK, American commentators. I've seen Brazilian, American commentators, Spanish commentators, all stating that Porto and Benfica will have a very tough time in the FIFA Club World Cup. My friends, Porto will I'm not going to say sure. But I am really confident, and I'm going to go bold. I've already gone bold, but I really believe Porto will not lose the Palmeiras in the FIFA Club World Cup. Porto is going to make a statement, and Rodrigo Moura will show to the world that he's as good, minimal, as William Estevão and the other side that was signed for 60 million to Chelsea. Porto will beat Palmeiras. Porto, I believe, will also beat Inter Miami, but I'm really confident of our level of football in European football with the Champions League. I believe we're above these other two teams. But Gonçalo, how are you feeling for this FIFA Club World Cup and for the fact that we're going to have so many questions answered in terms of, can a Brazilian team beat a Portuguese team in an important match? You know what I mean? How are we feeling here, Gonçalo?
I think it will be a big eye-opener for South American fans that the European football is still levels above South American football. And I lived in Rio, I lived in Brazil, and I like Flamengo, and I see that the South Americans love the Club World Cup, and the fever here in Europe isn't the same. So I think that might play a role, because they're playing to show something, and the Europeans want the Champions League. The Club World Cup is something secondary. They see the Champions League as something above the Club World Cup still. Mm-hmm. But I still think the European football is just levels above, and not just in the primary leagues. Also, Benfica and Porto can show levels. Even Dortmund can show levels above any South American team. I think Benfica will do well against Boca Juniors, for example. I think Porto will do well against Palmeiras. And in the end, I think that it will be a big eye-opener, 100%.
And would be an eye-opener too. Porto beats Palmeiras and beats Inter Miami. What if Inter Miami beats Palmeiras? What if Lionel Messi goes bold and beats Palmeiras? What if Inter Miami, in home soil, they're one of the teams going through with Porto? Because Brazilian fans, I guarantee you it's not Porto going out. It's going to be or Palmeiras or Inter Miami. And Lionel Messi, Luis Suarez, Busquets, they could turn on the chip. They can make something happen in one half. Go bold. Lionel Messi, World Cup, you know what happens. Palmeiras, You sure have to be ready. Porto, I know, is going to be ready. I'm very confident. Even with the signing of Gabri Veiga, smart deal. Smart deal. Gabri Veiga has the talent level to be in a Spanish national team in the near future. For Gabri Veiga, this is a team that has sold a Luis Diaz in the past, that has sold a Nico Gonzalez in the past. Eder Militão. Porto knows how to improve players and then sell them in the future. Gabri Veiga in the FIFA Club World Cup saying hello to the world once again. After winning the Asian Champions League, Gabri Veiga, Rodrigo Mora, Samu, Martin Fernandes, Diogo Costa. Why not Porto believe to beat a Palmeiras and Inter Miami? It's not believe. For me, it's their favorites. They are favorites, and it's going to be an eye-opener for a lot of people. So Porto's definitely going to go through in this Group A. In Group C, so because we spoke about Benfica, I also believe Benfica is going to beat Boca Juniors. I also easily hope Benfica is going to beat Auckland City, playing an Andrea Sheldrup, playing a lot of the players that will enjoy to be at the bigger stage. And Benfica Bayern Munich, that's going to be interesting. I don't want to say too much because Jamal Musiala didn't play against Portugal because Bayern Munich wanted him fit for the FIFA Club World Cup. So, big question here, Gonçalo.
I think there's two things to state above everything that you said. The first one is, and something that I disagree with you, is that I don't think Inter Miami is at the levels of Palmeiras. I think Palmeiras... Okay, we can say that Portuguese teams are above Brazilian teams or South American teams, but I still think the talent is there, the youth is there to go above Inter Miami, and I don't see a scenario where Leo Messi can actually overcome Palmeiras. I might be wrong. It's still Leo Messi. It's still the magic is at those feet, but I don't see it happening. Now, on the other side, I think Bayern is putting toda a carne no assador.
All the chips in the fryer.
Exactly. And so I think Bayern will be very tough to beat for Benfica. I just hope, please, let's have a good goodbye to Di Maria. He deserves it. He deserves it. As a Benfica fan, the season that we had was shameful for a goodbye to Di Maria, and he deserves after everything that he did for our club. Please, let's send him well. Let's have a good campaign in the FIFA World Cup. He deserves. Di Maria deserves it.
Completely, Gonçalo. Very well stated at this point. Di Maria is one of the players that I enjoyed the most to watch in Portugal at the start of his career, professional career, and now retiring or close to retirement. Seeing Di Maria in the stadium, it's a luxury. So thank you, Angel Di Maria, for coming back to Portugal and once again showing us your beautiful football with that left foot. That is so enjoyable to watch. Another team here that I want to mention in the FIFA Club World Cup. I used to talk about what FC Wonderkids and people didn't know about them, but now with Fabrizio Romano putting these tweets about these players that are being contracted, it's hard to be ahead of the game. But yes, we mentioned at the start, 2 seasons ago, Franco Mastatuono. Franco Mastatuono is already known now as the best player of River Plate. Franco Mastatuono is an Argentinian national team player level, okay? He's bold. He's incredible. For me, he's as good as Rodrigo Mora, Estevão, one step below Lamine Yamal, but one step ahead to conquer the world, okay? He's gonna make that happen. And Franco Mastatuono in this FIFA Club World Cup has Inter de Milan, has Huaral Reds, and has Monterrey to go against. River Plate's going through, and Franco Mastatuono is going to say to the world, I'm the next up to be at the world's biggest stage, and I'm going to go to Real Madrid and face Lamine Yamal as the Argentinian, not to make history in Barcelona, but now to make history in Madrid. Franco Mastatuono made the right choice to play under a Xabi Alonso system and to be the man to change the course of Lamine Yamal only having wins against Kylian Mbappe this season. It's mad. 6 games, 6 wins this past year, Lamine Yamal against Kylian Mbappe, and this FIFA Club World Cup has to serve an inspiration for this Real Madrid team. But River Plate fans, you're still going to have Franco for this tournament. So enjoy, appreciate what you have, and yes, go bold, because that's what Mastatuono does. So, do you agree, Gonçalo? How is the tabloids talking
for
and everything
how
in Spain?
long have I heard you talk about Mastatuono? For how long? Now everybody talks about him. But I've heard you talk about him for so long, and now we're seeing the results. He is playing so well, and I totally agree with you. I think he'll be a key part of River Plate's campaign in the Club World Cup. I think River Plate will go through, and I think he will come to Real Madrid if Florentino wants, Florentino gets. And he's getting Mastantuono. I have no doubt. We need a different midfield. We need an improved midfield, and I think he suits our playing style.
Completely. Yes. I get what you're saying. Real Madrid nonchalant this summer transfer window. Dean Huijsen, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Franco Mastantuono is being talked. Álvaro Carreras leaving Benfica. I can guarantee you I'm Portuguese. He's the best left back in the Portuguese league. Immediate impact for Benfica. Yeah. The growth he had under Bruno Fernandes. Insane, great signing for Real Madrid if it happens. And let's not forget Franco Mastantuono and Angelo Stiller, the two midfielders that are being signed. Insane, okay, if this happens. Real Madrid, insane transfer window, okay? So, beginning of a rebuild, beginning of a new tournament. Xabi Alonso, too, he's seeing where the best pieces they can play. Nico Paz could be coming back, a buyout clause, 8 million for his return. Could be a great choice, but yes. Any last statements you want to say from the FIFA Club World Cup? Because there's a Real Madrid Al Hilal. There's also Dortmund. They're very cynical in the sense that nobody puts Dortmund as contenders until Dortmund is in that semi-final, quarter-final. They're going to go through from their group.
The classic. I think Dortmund are always dangerous and people overlook them. And us Europeans, we already know the potential of Dortmund, and I think they can really, really go through. Of course, they're not the main club that we think will win it. I think PSG, I think even Bayern or Man City with the right hirings, and Real Madrid, if they make the right hirings for this Club World Cup, they can actually go all the way. But Dortmund is always dangerous. Something you said that I wanted to comment on is I think Florentino Perez is going to be obsessed with Álvaro Carreras when he sees him play in the FIFA Club World Cup. And that's why I don't think he will stay at Benfica. I wish he did, but he's also seen how well he does against Lamine Yamal.
True.
He played twice against Lamine Yamal, and the only game he didn't play, we suffered a lot, and Benfica suffered a lot. It was completely different game when he was in front of Lamine Yamal and when he wasn't.
Carreras versus Lamine Yamal, 0 goals, 0 assists.
Exactly.
That's the facts. And Álvaro Carreras against Atlético de Madrid, 4-0 no Estádio da Luz, and one of the best players on the pitch. Exactly. Completely, Gonçalo. Completely. Last thing I want to say on the FIFA Club World Cup, and it's a team that some of you might be screaming, saying, you gotta say they're contenders too. And it would be bold if it happens. It's Chelsea, mate. Chelsea is the team that has so many players, and in a FIFA Club World Cup, with a lot of players that are fatigued, Chelsea might be like, new chance for these players, new chance for you to show that you can stay for next season. Let's go. Chelsea got top 4. Chelsea got Champions League spots in the Premier League. Chelsea is in the FIFA Club World Cup. Chelsea won the Conference League. I know it was easy, but Chelsea is a team that got Champions League spots with no player above the age of 27 playing in the Premier League, okay? No player. That is insane. Only youngsters had a big impact for this team. Moises Caicedo, André Santos, that's returning from Strasbourg. William Esteban will still be at Palmeiras, but there will be players that will want to make their Chelsea career choice be the right one. So I see this Chelsea team being a dark horse to win the FIFA Club World Cup. I don't think it's going to happen, but they're easily going to go through Flamengo, LAFC, and Esperança in the same group. No chance anyone stopping the Chelsea from this group, and they'll be playing bench players that we wouldn't expect, playing maybe a Chalobah, a Shrewsbury Hall to sell them in the summer faster. So let's wait and see what's going to happen. But André Santos, so happy that he got selected for Brazil, and so happy that now Carlo Ancelotti can make the right choices in the Brazil national team, even though it was 0-0 against Ecuador, and people cannot judge Brazil for not beating Ecuador, that have their golden generation with William Pacho. We saw PSG, Hincapié, Moises Caicedo. Great generation. Great.
Yeah, it's great generation for Ecuador, and things take time. It's not just one match after that we're going to change the whole Brazilian national team. There's a lot of work to be done. A lot of work to be done to reach the levels. I think Brazil are still far away from the levels that they should have and that the Brazilians expect. And so let's be calm. We'll still have to trust Ancelotti. Of course, things didn't happen the way people wanted in terms of winning or smashing Ecuador, but it's not the same times, and it's a very big golden generation for Ecuador.
Exactly. Ecuador, Paraguay, a lot of good teams that are growing in the
100%.
South American market. Chile, bad time. Win last, okay, in the CONMEBOL. But yes, it's been an enjoyable podcast, Gonçalo. It's been very bold talking about Portugal. Man, it's a FIFA Club World Cup. Like this video if you're listening until now. It's been so good here, and I'm so happy that I went bold and I'm talking to you guys. It was inevitable. It had to happen. The I'm gonna go bold statement never made as much sense as it makes now. And yes, I actually went bold. Do you have a statement at the end, Gonçalo, that you wish, a transfer, a prediction that you think is gonna happen? Something that's unexpected, but you expected?
The unexpected that I think is expected is I think Ronaldo will score in the last in the final of the
Nations League.
The Nations League. Damn, I butchered that totally. And I think Ronaldo will score in the final of the Nations League, and I think we'll see Portugal win it, even though everybody expects them not to.
Great bold prediction at the end. Let us know down below if you agree or disagree. Thank you, Gonçalo, so much for being here in the podcast.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening to us until now and going bold in another podcast. We promise next week to go even bolder. And again, thank you so much for going bold with us another week with FC Wonderkid.